Hey guys, welcome back to 10 and 2. Today we're giving El Hefe his Cushman back. It's been over here in Purgatory Corner for quite a while, and well, it just needs a little bit of help to get it back on the road. Or I don't think this is road legal, but I don't know. I mean, I think that they use these on the roads for like parking enforcement and giving out tickets to lucky people and that sort of thing. But well, what am I talking about here? Just look at this thing. It's pretty neat. I don't know what year it is, but it's got some neat pinstriping on it. It says El Hefe, so you know it belongs to the boss. And some side pipes with clackers that I've wired open because they're incredibly loud. Sorry about the light there. It's got a little horizontally opposed two-banger. It's been outfitted with a turn signal switch, which is not currently working, but you know, we'll get there. Got some custom upholstery. Custom. Got the full canopy on the bed there. It's got some reversed Kia wheels. Custom. A little more custom pinstriping on the Cushman logo there. So I'm going to show you a trick now. A trick that my grandfather taught me way back when. Many moons ago. And I've probably seen him do, 100 times. So I've got this running. Let me put this over here. I did get this running. It needed a fuel pump. One of these bad guys here. Gord told me that he had driven it, I think for the first time, and he bombed it down the road to show his friend Rick. Shout out, Old Time Garage. Rick took it for a spin, and then Gord went to take it back to the shop, and he said, electrical fire, and it shut off. And he shut it off and walked back to the shop, which luckily wasn't very far away. And I think what had happened was, well, this wire wasn't quite so nice and shiny when I started looking at this. I've stripped that, but it looked like it had been cut off. And I couldn't seem to find the wire that it was connected to. All the wires are over here, fuel pumps over here, starter relays over here, everything's over here. So I figured, well, I'll strip this off and apply some power to it. Nothing. I checked the ground. The ground also no connection. So I cut that off. I grounded it, then applied power. Still absolutely nothing. So we bought a new fuel pump. I've put it in there. I got it wired in. Once I dug into the wiring harness a little bit, I did find some melty stuff. There's like an exhaust that runs down here and then up the stacks, if you will call them stacks. And it got a little close to the exhaust, and I think some things melted. I fixed all that up, and so now we're running. I did initially just run it on the old squirt bottle of gas, because I know that's not really dangerous enough for anyone. And now it will run by itself. I don't know if it'll start again by itself, but the choke has to be on. So that tells me that the idle circuit of the carburetor is a little gummed up. So I got some carb clean and a screwdriver, because that's what you need to work on a carburetor. And now I'm going to work on a carburetor. So first, we'll need to get this little thing out of the way. Now I don't have to worry too much about dropping this screw down there because there's a screen, but just the same, I'll drop it down there. And then we'll take this screw out. Maybe we should put this lower so it doesn't disappear like the other one. And there we go. And now you can see we've exposed the side draft, side down draft carburetor. This is the most important thing that we need to get to right now, because what I need to be able to do is that when it's running. I thought that looked like a gasket. Okay, and that didn't really need to come off, but I just need to be able to block off the airflow to this carburetor so it will suck real hard on all of the circuits of the carburetor and hopefully unclog the idle circuit. And then we will note that there is definitely a vacuum leak. So I've got that like completely sealed off, and it still mostly runs. That needs an incredibly small amount of air. Hear the fuel pump? Sorry if that was too loud or if the audio was unusable. So I'll now tell you what happened. I started it. It ran at high idle, or at choke speed, and then I covered the carburetor inlet and it continued to run, and then I covered it harder and it still continued to run, and then it slowed down, and then it slowed down a little bit more, and then I took my hand off the carburetor and then I did it again, and it still continued to run, and I pressed a little harder and it still continued to run. So if you're wondering why I'm telling you this, it's because that's not right. That's not right at all. What you want to happen is for it to immediately slow down and start to die. And then you quickly take your hand off and it starts running again. And you put your hand back on and it slows down. And you take your hand off. And you repeat this until you feel that you've sufficiently angered the carburetor and convinced the deposits to leave the idle circuit. And then you try and take the choke off, and all is good in the world. Or not, and you repeat the process 17 to 18 times, and that may or may not work. Then you try the carb clean. But right now, confused. So now I need to figure out, how does it run when my hand is over the carburetor inlet? Because when my hand is over the carburetor inlet, it should no longer run. Now I do see that it has this hose that is connected to some sort of thing. I assume it's for crankcase ventilation, but I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the hose, and I'm going to plug the hose as well as the carburetor, and then hopefully that will be the extent of my confusion as to why the carburetor has so much air leaking through it. And it may also be the reason why it won't idle. Probably not though. But let's take this hose off and see what we can see. Well, you just don't want to idle. And I guess that means I should take the carburetor off. I'm going to need a 1/2-inch wrench. I'll have to go get it. Goodbye. Guess what? I'm back. Yeah. I guess we can fire this up now and hopefully it starts, because it was getting a little bit dead there. Doesn't appear to be flooding. Still wants a little squeeze of the go-go juice. What? Why? Why? Sorry, it's just so incredibly loud. I don't know what RPM this is, and quite frankly, I don't care. The choke is almost completely off. There, now the choke is off. Beautiful. No, can't quite close the throttle that far. Well, I think that's probably about as close to perfect as I can get it to run right now. I'm sure that it will ripen with age as some fuel flows through the carburetor, perhaps some better fuel, which will rob out of something that isn't currently running. Heaven knows there's enough of those around here. So I'm going to get this put back together, and then I'm going to see if I can drive it around the building. Maybe you'll join me for that. Can you see me? I'm in a Cushman. Okay, will it start again? It's in gear. No, it won't. Please hold. Let's try that again. More choke. Clutch noise. Okay, first gear. First gear. No, I think that's third gear. Away we go! No, too slow for a second.